Hey everybody, and welcome to Hex Token channel. Your host Superman in the house, and welcome another day in the office. Man, oh man, the market under pressure. We're going to talk all about that. We've got a poll in the chat there, and of course, let's see where we go. We've got sentiment poll, more crypto pain to come. Get in there and vote. There's a sentiment poll to see what the sentiment of the community is. Yes, market will go down. Number one, two, market will move sideways. Market will move up, and of course, unsure, don't know. As option is there as well. So let's see what those results later on in the live stream. You know how I love polls, so we'll get into that. Let's see who else is in the house at the moment. We've got J-Man. Hello, everybody. Good to see J-Man. And I must an honorable mention to Toxic Hedgehog in first there. Who else there? We got Wookie as well. Oh, no, BlockFi. Woohoo, says Wookies. Yep. CFI, centralized exchanges. They are really smashing this market down. And that's what we're seeing. DeFi is definitely the better place to be. J-Man in the house there. Woo, good to see J-Man. And, of course, Katie in the house as well. Hey, all. Good to see you. And good to see you, Super. You too, Katie. Dave Down Under says, the bigger the drop, the bigger the bounce, says Dave Down Under. And, of course, Pablo says, hello, fellow Hexicans. Will there be any exchanges left after Christmas? That would make a good poll. That would be a good poll, Pablo. It would be a good poll. Maybe we'll think about that one. We've got Check My Pulse in the house there. Evening, Superman. Woohoo! Good to see you. Check My Pulse. And we've got Hex Coiner as well. Thank you for keeping in the good work. Hey, you're welcome, man. It's a pleasure, man. Hey, look, number one thing on this channel is consistency. We'll be consistent through bear market or bull market. And, of course, you guys know I have been streaming either 2 times a day or at least once a day. And with pre-recorded videos, we won't be stopping on this channel. Of course, check evening, fellow Hexicans. Hey, look, here's my view on the long-term time frame of crypto. I think it's going to take probably around about 20 years for it to really, truly mature. And so if we think about 2009 with Bitcoin and, of course, all the way through, I think we've got, probably by 2030 before it gets to some degree of maturity. So what I mean by that, transactions per second, cross-chain interconnections, all that sort of stuff, the speed, and, of course, starting to really impact the fiat world. Obviously, it's going to be up against the traditional markets and, of course, those who want centralized control, but really DeFi is the place for that battleground. DeFi is the place to push back. So that's what we'll be doing as well. Academiciated in the house there, buying the Hex dip religiously, says Academiciated. Nice, very nice. And of course, getting this lower price in Hex at the moment is more volume, right? So you're picking up even more bags. So if you're a pretty committed Hexican, that's a good way to get more T-shares. And, of course, to have more of the best product. Now, Pulsechain is still coming. You're still going to need a copy on Pulsechain when it launches. And, of course, none of the narrative changes. The yield's still looking great. And, of course, the specific mechanisms inside the Hex contract as well and the Hex ecosystem has enabled it to give a really high yield compared to CFI, which is all typically a rug pull, and they're leveraging your balance sheet. So it's really, really cool. And that's going to play out over time, right? The Hex contract will play out over time, and people will see the fact that, hey, man, this thing's consistently just giving the yield. That's pretty good. And, of course, as it happens, more people come in, and, of course, the price goes up through another parabolic. So we'll just wait patiently for that one. I see every opportunity everywhere, says Peso Dude. That's for sure. Now, what is the market bottom coming in? We'll find out, get into that poll, and see what the sentiment of the community is at the moment. All right, cool. Let's get into the stock market. We're going to start here, get into crypto. We're going to look at a few of the influencers in crypto as well. I'm going to bring more of that, actually, more of the big personalities into crypto into this live stream. So I look forward to that in the future. The other thing, of course, is we're going to be covering Hex and Hedron ecosystem with the Cosa, Maximus, all that good stuff. And, of course, a lot of our favorites that we've been covering as well. In fact, I think I forgot to bring up BNBP, but we'll talk about that later on. All right, so cool. Let's get into it. Stock market today. Dow wobbles as China unrest rattles stocks. And we've had a pretty good time in the stock market. Don't we all agree? Stock market's actually kind of been delivering to the upside, if you ask me, and staying up quite nicely. But today it is down on the open day on Monday. So we're going to get into the markets here. We've got the Dow Jones, the top 30 industrials are still up at 33,849. It's down 1.4% today, almost 1.5% at 497 points. But that's actually been, over the last couple of weeks, been holding up pretty well. We've had some red weeks, we've had some green weeks, but this is actually holding up. So if we have a look at the max period of time, we still haven't had a big correction in the market. So there is potential in the stock market for a big decrease in the stock market value. That is right there, folks. And of course, just keep that in the back of your mind. And this is why we're covering the stock market so much now, is because we've moved from cheap money to more expensive money. We've got a lot of financial issues happening, and we've got a lot of geopolitical events happening as well. So we can't just live in crypto land anymore. We have to pull in the wider economy, geopolitical, and of course the commodities and things like that into our thinking. So this is why we've been covering it so consistently over this period of time. Now the Dow Jones there is pretty holding up there. We did peak up here at about 36,000 or so, and of course that was towards the end of the year, beginning of this year, and we are down at the moment. Now we have seen the M2 supply. We did get down to as low as 28,700 in September. Remember September, 28,700. We're back up at 33,850. So what I'm saying is that we're still looking pretty amazing here, and the stock market really hasn't pulled back. So you can imagine if there is some sort of massive failure and this thing tanks, you could see a lot of value be wiped off. So the risk to the downside is huge, and we must keep that in our forefront of our minds, not in the back of our minds, but the forefront as we move forward into 2023. We're also looking at recession as well, so we have to be more prudent with our risk management and so forth. So this is something to take into account. We've been covering on this channel pretty consistently. Now the S&P 500 is down 0.5%, 62 points to 3,963. The Nasdaq is down 1.6%, so they're all pretty similar today. And of course, it's down 176 points to 11,049. So if we have a look at the Nasdaq with a lot of the tech companies in it, we can see that it peaked out back here in November. So I'm going to take it to the 5-year chart, probably a bit easy to see. Back in November 21, at around about 15,500. It is currently at 11,000 at the moment. So it's pulled back quite nicely, but it could do another drop. So just be careful there with this one at the moment. We'll see how that goes. Well, the US dollar is up 0.6%, and of course up to 106.6 versus its trading partners. And of course, we'll be watching that. Now we know that there's people trying to undermine the US dollar as the reserve currency, the petrodollar, the Saudis and the Russians and the Chinese and all that sort of stuff. But none of those have worked so far. They're still working on it. And of course, it probably will happen at some stage, particularly under the current administration in the US, making the US weaker and its enemies stronger. That's pretty much what they've been doing. We've seen that under Obama. We saw that under Biden. So that's continuing. They're continuing that process. And of course, we won't get into too much of the geopolitics around that, but a lot of you guys already know a lot of that stuff. All right, so let's have a look at the commentary. The Dow fell sharply Monday as investors' sentiment was hurt by Federal Reserve officials reiterating a stance of rates to remain higher for longer at a time when the impact of several unrest in China stoked fears about slowing global growth. So we've seen, obviously, they're going for that lockdown process, and of course, they've been doing some terrible things to their people. And this is why wherever you are around the world, you need to stand up for freedom. And of course, you need to be critically evaluating what the governments are saying. And of course, these blunt lockdowns, you need to be, challenging those. Now, to do isolated lockdowns is one thing, but to do blanket lockdowns is another thing. And you need to say, is that justified? So a lot of people need to think about that wherever they are. Of course, this is the one they've got here at the moment. We also had a building in China that actually went on fire that they locked the people in. So they bolt the people in. They bolt the people in the doors. This is what they're actually doing. Bolting. Imagine someone coming to your house and bolting the front door and locking you in with a big metal front door. This is what they're doing to some of these places in China. And of course, one of the big buildings that had people in there burnt down. I can't remember exactly how many people were killed in the fire. It was a lot. So this is pretty hardcore. We see potentially millions of people on the streets there, particularly a lot of university students protesting this, storefront people protesting really is, and they're being oppressed, right? They're being oppressed. So you just got to really think very critically about that. And of course, let's see how we get on with what's happening over there. Now, it's a very big country, a very big authoritarian state. So the stuff that we are seeing is can be squashed, can be limited, and under these kind of regimes. So we'll see how that ends up playing out. Federal Reserve Bank of St. Louis President James Bullard said markets were underpricing risk that the FOMC will have to be more aggressive rather than less aggressive in order to tame the substantial inflation in the US. And we talked about this on this channel. Remember, I've been saying this, that the market's underpricing again, and the market's been wrong again and again and again. And I still think it's wrong based on the comments that we've seen, particularly by James Bullard here And of course, that means we will have to be a bit more cautious. At the moment, the market was been pricing that 50 basis points for December. And of course, let's hope we get it. We have had some of the dovish presidents in the Fed basically talking about it maybe be a bit lower, but stay up for longer. So we've got a question of how fast do we move up? And what is the second question is the terminal rate. What's the final mark for the federal funds rate? And the third question is how long you keep that terminal rate up at that high level. And of course, the true pivot comes when we get that rate going down at some stage. But when will that be? Obviously, if we enter recession next year, we'll see the employment numbers come down. And of course, the profit margins in companies squeezed. We start seeing things topple over potentially. The retail rates get high. We get all those marginal loans start collapsing. Bang, 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 bang. We see corporate loans start collapsing. Bang, bang, bang. Just depends on how severe it is. But so far, it just depends on how high that terminal rate's going to go. So we'll keep watching that sort of stuff. So that's the sort of look out there as well. We also see the M2 monetary supply pulling down, and with the Fed balance sheet playing a role in that. So it's a slightly negative since the beginning of this year, as opposed to last year and the year before that, where they were inflating the M2 monetary supply, and of course what we call quantitative easing there. So we will see how that goes in 2023. So we got to keep these things in our mind and keep tracking this pretty closely. So what we've seen here is that we might get a surprise 75 again, but I still kind of feel maybe we get 50, and then they'll just do higher numbers maybe in February and March is kind of where I'm feeling there at the moment. So my kind of thinking at the moment, federal funds rate is somewhere between 5 and 2.5, but we've got the inflation number for the PCE coming out on the 1st of December. Very critical. That is really the number that the Fed's tracking. Remember, it was 5.1% in September. And what will October be? Will it come down like the CPI headline inflation from 8.1 down to 7.7% that we saw in October? Will that come down for the PCE inflation, which is that GDP number coming down? So we'll see how that inflation related number comes down for October on the 1st of December. Very, very telling number, that one. We'll see how the market responds. Anyway, Bullet has previously said that the Fed may need to lift rates to within 5 to 7% range. Now, that 7% would be absolutely smashing. You could imagine that be smashing here. So let's say we're at 4% at the moment. And of course, the retail rates are somewhere between 6.8, 6.85, 6.875, maybe up to as high as 7.25 in the US retail rates. So you can imagine adding another 300 basis points going to 7% onto that. So you'd get up to 7 up to almost 9.5 to 10% interest rates at retail in the United States. And of course, that would hurt a lot of people. That's a big change in your mortgage rates. That's a big issue. So we certainly wouldn't want to get that high. And we'll be watching these economic indicators and inflation moving forward. The remarks arrived on the heels of the comments from John Williams, president of the Federal Reserve Bank of New York, who echoed that inflation was far too high. So we'll see how they play out. Remember, they're targeting at 2%. So we'll see how they get on there. The remarks soured investor sentiment further, pushing the broader market deeper into the red following a tepid start to the week amid reports of social unrest in China over the C-19 restrictions there. Following an economic standpoint, China's zero-C policy has already had serious implications for growth. Seifel said, citing China's third quarter economic growth of 3.9%, well below the official target of 5.5%. Now, to be honest, you have to break this down even further to see what the real driving forces are. There's a lot of driving forces in the United States, but we'll take it for what it is in this commentary at the moment. Ted led the move lower, pressured by Apple, following reports that tech giant could see production shortfall of 6 million iPhone Pro models because of the disruptions at supplier Foxconn in China. Now, we also see with Twitter, with Elon Musk, that Apple's trying to block them on the App Store for no reason given. They've pretty much removed most of their advertising from Twitter as well. So the battle between the left progressives who don't like freedom, and of course everybody else who love freedom, is on. And of course the battle is happening there over at Twitter. And of course we will see how it goes. Now, Elon Musk did talk about making his own phone. So we'll see that. So it does appear, his actions do appear consistently to be fighting for the people and for freedom, as opposed to some conspiracy theorists who think that he may be working for the other side. It does appear that he is not at this stage, and he seems to be a general on the front line. That's for sure. Others on Wall Street also flagged concerns that Wedbush are estimating iPhone shortages that could take off roughly at least 5% of units in the quarter and potentially up to 10%, depending on the next few weeks in China around Foxconn production and protests. So that's funny. All right, so Microsoft and Meta platforms fell more than 2%, while Alphabet slipped more than 1%. And the positive about this is that it does reduce their wealth impact, because most of these companies here that I've just named are against freedom. They are all part of the problem. They want to get that centralized control. And of course, it's interesting the wealth effect playing out on them. Now, their income effect is also going to be reducing, especially as into recession. But that's also going to flow on to YouTubers and stuff like that too. So we'll see how that plays out. Energy stocks also fell victim to reports of social unrest in China as oil prices fell on concerns about softening demand in China, the world's top energy exporter. So a bigger picture there for around energy. That's going to probably prove better for your petrol prices at the pump, for at least for short periods of time. So cool. That is pretty much it. We had a couple of these big companies, biggest declines in the energy sector. The consumer stocks also ended the day in the red. So pretty much everyone was hit right. The tech, the energy, and the consumer stocks. The losses were kept in check by rallying casino stocks, including Wynn Resorts and Las Vegas Sands. And of course, maybe that bodes well for B&B Pot, right? Because it's boding well for these ones after receiving provisional licenses from Chinese government to continue operating in Macau. So that's kind of the highlights there. We're going to jump away to the crypto now. And actually, before we do that, let's have a quick look at the oil prices and see where they're at the moment. So we've got West Texas there at $76, up 14 cents. We've got Brent oil at $83.24. Down 47 cents. So nice to see the oil pull off a little bit there, off those 90s, off those $100 plus prices. Good to see that. Now gold is $17.39 and silver at $20.92. Not really surprised there because without the dollar pivoting, without the Fed pivoting and the dollar pivoting, we're really not going to see a big rally in silver and gold from my point of view. So we'll have to wait for that dollar to pivot. If that gets devalued, then silver and gold can go on a little rally there. Maybe we might get that Kiyosaki poor man's was it poor man? I can't remember now. But basically silver rallying at 5x to 25x is kind of the picture he painted. We'll see if that happens. Cool. So let's jump over to crypto. And we got a BTC at $16,207 and ETH at $1,164. Bitcoin down 1.3% and ETH at 2.46. Now it is down from yesterday. Bitcoin was at 16,500 yesterday, and it hasn't quite is partly fallen, but not quite fallen completely yet. But it does look really weak, doesn't it? Doesn't it look fragile? And having, of course, the news around BlockFi filing a Chapter 11 liquidation isn't helping. So these typically, when these prices move down, there's often catalysts as well that make it happen, of course. And this is what we've got playing out. So we've got the USDC and USD Tether slightly under peg as well. BNB, which has been a real star performance, had massive volatility, but back up at 60. It was over $300, down 4.4%. There at 293. Now Solana there is down 5.8% to $13.33, and of course that was benefiting earlier from Google Cloud and things like that. And of course Matic was also benefiting from technology users on there too. That's that down 3%, down to 82 cents. So the market's pretty red with lava at the moment. And Dogecoin there is at 9.4 cents, down 4.65. It got as high, remember, it was up at like 15.5 to 16 cents, somewhere in that ballpark with the Twitter news. And of course, that's going to take time to play out. That will play out eventually, and I'm sure that will be valued into Doge in the future. That's pretty much some of the highlights there. I'm just having a look at Crow. Crow over there is down 1.4% to 6.3 cents there. And of course, it looks like they've got Apier up 5.6% to $4. So it seems to be a green little shoot there at the moment. ADA as well is down 2% to 30 cents, and TRX there down 0.25% to 5.3 cents, just humming around as well. So it's kind of cool. We're going to jump away from here into some of the news around crypto. Crypto lender BlockFi files for Chapter 11. Yes, sir. That was kind of no surprise, right? Yes, sir. But that was no surprise, really. U.S. cryptocurrency lender BlockFi said on Monday it had filed for Chapter 11 bankruptcy projection along with 8 affiliates in the New Jersey court. The latest casualty since FTX's collapse earlier this month triggered instability in the crypto market. In the court filing, BlockFi said it owes money to more than 100,000 creditors. So it's a lot of people get impacted by these folks. FTX millions, and of course this one BlockFi 100,000 creditors on here at least. It's listed crypto exchange FTX as its second largest creditor with 275 million owed on a loan extended earlier this year. So that was pretty much the play out there. Now I've highlighted a few comments that I was going to read out. It's unfortunate that BlockFi, that White Knight had offered them a lifeline back in June, hasn't managed to stay solvent themselves, in part because of the massive losses accumulated at Alameda Research stemming from the same event, the collapse of Terra Luna and Three Arrows Capital. And then, of course, there's another comment down here. During a period of unwinding and consolidation, which is where we are, leverage strategies are more at risk. We're trying to separate the wheat from the chaff here. And I don't think many people were surprised by the BlockFi filing. And, of course, we were expecting that to happen. BlockFi received a $250 million loan there in Q2 from FTX, likely in self-interest to help keep over-leveraged Alameda afloat. So today's action was not unexpected. And then finally, here's a bit of I think a flag, not a flag, a bit of a good sign for Hex here in particular. There are crypto lending models that make sense. There are indeed, and we believe that Hex is one of those in the DeFi world. And of course, the decentralized finance models are used proper collateralization, and they're intact indeed. And this is where Hex is a real strength, is that you mint your own coins. So in the inflation contract, just runs immutably on the blockchain, and you mint your own coins there. Now, obviously, we need liquidity pools. Obviously, we need supply and demand to keep playing out. But of course, we have a pretty vibrant and growing community, which we see all the time. Now, obviously, there's some big, large holders that do risk off and risk on. We see that in the price chart as well. And we do get that risk on, risk off profile, which is bigger than Hart's Law. And of course, Hart's Law moving around with BTC and ETH pools. Obviously, Hex is about 90% in USDC, but we still get the risk on and risk off, which is bigger than that Hart's Law. And of course, that's playing out in our chart at the moment. So some centralized models did not. I think you're seeing the models with the weak lungs fail first. If a company gives you 80% yield, you better know really well where the yield is coming from. And of course, we know where that is in Hex, and we talk about it every single day. So yes, CeFi and centralized exchanges, a lot of those CeFi projects in particular are getting wrecked, and a lot of bad actors playing with the balance sheet. They just can't seem to keep their hands off the balance sheet, can they? They can't put in proper risk management percentages. They can't seem to limit the leverage on those platforms, and they can't seem to get their hand out of the cookie jar. And this is what we're seeing happen. They're putting their hand on the cookie jar. They get one asset in, they're lending that asset out multiple times. And of course, the domino effect plays out, and people get wrecked. They go and spend that money on political campaigns for the Democrats. They go spend it on big mansions, big property portfolios for their personal wealth, and of course, political favors. So that's what we kind of see happening. It's pretty sick, really. But that's where DeFi and immutable code is so important. So some cool highlights there. I thought that comment played really well in for the Hex there. From a customer standpoint, it serves as a reminder to be skeptical of any crypto yield products on offer, and that's 100% true. You should always be skeptical of any product and understand what you're investing in, particularly those that sound too good to be true. That's true as well. That should be the biggest red flag now that a company is taking on added risk with your assets. And obviously, there's the general rule over time, which I think it was Ananopoulos put out originally, which is your keys, your coins. So your keys, your coins is this a typical thing. If you put your money, your crypto in someone else's wallet, then you don't own that, right? So you've got to plead to get it back if you're lucky. And of course, like many times, you don't get it back, or it might take you 10 years or 8 years, as in Mt. Gox. So just remember that. So cool. Your keys, your coins, the first principle on crypto. You are your own bank in crypto, so it's very fundamental. Keep that. So your crypto security and the fact that you have responsibility as your own bank, those two things you should always keep with you in crypto, and that will keep you well stead there. All right, so cool. Let's jump over to some of the upside. We got Ben Armstrong, BitBoy, and I've been covering him a little bit here, as well as Sam Bankman-Friedman and FTX. And of course, breaking news. This is about an hour and a half ago. I have Sam Bankman-Friedman and I have agreed to do a Twitter Spaces within the next 2 weeks. Remember, Ben Armstrong had gone to Bahamas, and I posted a few videos about his journey there, trying to track him down, standing outside of his condo. And of course, looks like, and of course, he got blocked on the phone as well. but it looks like he's managed to get through to Sam. Somehow Sam has capitulated on that, and they're getting together. He has unblocked me on Twitter now, so you can confirm we have spoken. I look forward to getting the answers to the questions the community must have to move forward. Funnily enough, it seems like the mainstream media and the Democrats seem to be supporting Sam Bankman-Fried. He's doing talks with the likes of Facebook CEO around books and all sorts of stuff in New York and places like that. So crazy times. They will never hold. They are a bit like a big crime syndicate. They don't hold anybody accountable. They just want to remove power. Pretty treacherous out there. Anyway, we'll look forward to Ben Armstrong and BitBoy there, hashtag BitBoy, getting that in Twitter Space in 2 weeks. I'm sure that Richard Hart will jump in there. Richard Hart was in a one yesterday. I think it was with the president of Bahamas as well, or Prime Minister of Bahamas there. So with BitBoy, so you can check that online too. Now, El Capo Crypto, it is a trader that I've been following as well. He's been pretty insightful. And of course, getting the timing right is always the difficult thing. Good morning. The hammer is down. And of course, that was 16 hours ago. He says BTC, when it breaks below 16K, it teleports to 12 to 14. So he's expecting the market to really go down. So if he was on this poll, he would be in the top one there. Yes, market will go down. So we'll be watching this pretty closely. System giving me another exit. It was 8 hours ago. System giving me another exit at all market signal. Capitulation could be epic. And see that capitulation could be epic. And this is the big worry now with this contagion impact. And of course, BlockFi, another sign of that. Last bull trap before capitulation 6 hours ago was his comment there. And of course, that's pretty much where he is at the moment. So cool. And he's just got the watch here at the moment, waiting for that to happen. 2 hours ago, I've spent hundreds of hours analyzing market to come up to the conclusion that capitulation is a matter of time. BTC should reach 12Ks. ETH $600 to $700 altcoins should drop 40 to 50%, and of course crap coins 50% plus. So take that into account. So quality altcoins 40-50%, and crap altcoins there 50%. I won't post any more until confirmation or invalidation. Good luck there. So that's kind of where he was at 2 hours ago. So we'll see how that plays out, folks. That is pretty much the stock and crypto market. We're going to get into Hex's at the moment. Hex is also under pressure. And of course, we're going to talk about that in a second. But before we do that, let's get into the comments in the chat. Let's get there and have a look and see what people are saying. We got a couple of people in the house. I think, where did I get up to? We got Living on Crypto. G'day, Superman. Great work. I appreciate that. And Peso says, I see opportunity everywhere. I think I did get up to that too. And Tufon, another one bites the dust, says Tufon. Indeed. BlockFi bites the dust for sure. Tin Top in the house there. What's up, Hexkins? Good to see you. What's up, Tin Top? Very cool to see that. Dave Donan says, Crypto 7 says he heard a rumor that V3 could only be a week away. Have you heard anything? No, Crypto 7 always posts in the rumors. So you take what he says at a grain of salt there. Unless he's heard from a internal dev, I would take that as fake news. I love what Crypto 7 does, but making statements about things like that, unless he gave you a source, I would not take that away. So cool. But if he has a source, great. That's fantastic. T7 share rate is going to jump up tomorrow or next. Get your new stakes in now, says Tin Top. Yeah, the share rate is not holding back for anybody. So it's a really good point. Share rate in Hex is just going up and to the right. And of course, that juicy yield just keeps playing out there as well. What else there? We've got Tufon in there a couple of times. Hey, Tufon. Try not to spam the chat there, Tufon. What else there? Sandy Beach in the house there with the beaches. Good to see you. Bring down those prices, says Briz. Briz is waiting for his limit orders to get hit. And of course, Sandy Beach says, hey, Hex Token, everybody, good to see you. Hey, Superman, ever consider moving to the US? No. I live in New Zealand. Now, we have a terrible government, and they're going to they're unleashing about 20 policies on this country, laws on this country. They're ignoring democracy. They ignore all the select committees, hearings. They put us under a fake emergency condition after the Queen passed, which is ridiculous because we already have a king, and it's ridiculous. So they're going to unleash socialism and, of course, that globalist WEF policies on us. And, it's going to be a horrible place from a political point of view. And New Zealand otherwise is a gorgeous country. And, this is where I grew up. So probably not. I would definitely go on holiday to the US and stay for periods of time. But probably not move there is probably the case. Now, what else there? But you never know. You never know, do you? Accu decimated. There are a couple of states that do look pretty nice in the movies, and of course, that's my window of the United States. I've been to the United States a couple of times, there's a couple of those. But some of those states are beautiful, but I think they're run by Democrats, so that'd be pretty horrible. I don't know. You let me know what you think about that. All right, so cool. 10 people were killed in that fire in China. Yeah, it's pretty bad. Pretty bad indeed. You wouldn't believe it. If you haven't seen the videos of them locking the doors up in those big estate places in China with metal doors, it's hideous. It's hideous. And beating people, beating women, smashing them. Oh, man, it's just terrible, terrible stuff, man, honestly. The stuff they're doing over. Oh, chemical powders in the sky, helicoptering chemical powders and fluming the streets. And it all does nothing. It does nothing. It's ridiculous. Absolutely does nothing. And, of course, it's ridiculous. It really is crazy stuff. They just completely lost their brain. RH absolutely killing it lately on stream, though he should sell the Prada and bags for Hex. Well, Pablo, I kind of feel that a lot of that stuff will probably end up going into the Richard Hart Museum. I've been thinking, why he's got so much stuff there, and yeah, it gets a certain amount of stuff. It's certainly not helping the price, right? I know a lot of people say the outrage marketing. Now, it helps with the social media. It grows the social media, but it doesn't help with the price. The price tells us everything, and so the price is where it's at the moment, 2.5 cents. So, I just push back on that one because the price tells us everything. It takes in all the information, and this is where we are at the moment. But what it does do is it grows social media. So that's a different metric. It's a different a beast on its own. So it is good for that. So it probably play well in a bull market when we get back up the other side. And that's when it will probably play out, having a bigger social media. So that's what we're all, as YouTube promoters in the Pulsechain Hex space, the more people we get in the community, the bigger the bull market. When the market does turn, the more people that will be reachable to for that. And of course, the more self-fulfilling that will be over time. And particularly for T-shares, right? So Hex, obviously, those are all about T-shares, and that's probably one of the key focuses there. Academiciators in-house has never happened on my watch, heavily armed and not afraid to defend my freedom. We still have a large militia in my state, says academiciated there. Yeah, well, one of the 20 legislations they're doing here is trying to take more guns away. And of course, most of these guns are just used for hunting. So basically, they're taking them. Most of the people they're taking them away from are just the good people, because all the bad people still have, their ways and means of getting guns. So it's just a ridiculous stuff. They already passed one law. They're going to pass another one, and it's all about taking away resistance. So there'll be no resistance, and then all the rest of the laws they're putting in is they're going to control what you say, what you can do, and what you can think. This is where they're heading with all these laws. So it's pretty bad. They're also taking away assets from the people as well. It's a pretty scary stuff in good old New Zealand. But the country is beautiful. You can't change, that's still, at least we've got that. But at some stage that can, even that can be pressed, when you got the government pressing down on you, then that can still be pretty oppressive as well. You got to go to the beach and have a good surf that a lot more often. That's probably what you have to do. Spike says wild times. Says Spike, definitely, indeed. Freedom from tyranny. Yes, fight back. Yeah. So you got political, civil means of pushing back, and if that's what you need to do. So wherever you are around the world, you need to do what you can, whether it's voting for the right party, whether it's getting out, telling friends of what's happening and making them informed so they're not ignorant. A lot of people just want to get on with their lives, right? So when these people are doing the big power plays, they love these people. They love people that just want to get on their lives because that way they can get away with what they're doing. And of course, no one's looking, right? So that's the case as well. Good morning, Super. Good to see you, Pulse Beta. Good to see you in the house. OMG, the FUD says Bob Fish King. yeah. The FUD says check my pulse. That's true. 2 weeks. Sam needs to be in jail yesterday, says Briz. That's right. Sam won't show. He will cancel and say it was under legal advice. Probably Ramon. Probably living. Every time he does talk, you're right, Ramon. Every time he does talk, if they do get to hold him to account eventually, it can be used against him. Living absolutely. Yeah. If Sam wasn't a political darling, he would have been in jail already, says Ramon. That's true. What else? We got Al Merlos in the house there. Shake all the weekend, says Al. Well, that's definitely happening. We do hear Richard talking about the bottom. Have you noticed that? Every so often, one of his tweets will be about the bottom, like BDC, selling all the BDC down that's been collected and stuff like that. So he is looking out for the bottom of the market. So he wants a lot of that stuff to be sold already. The Mount Gox and all that stuff. He wants to all play out, but that's not going to play out evenly like that, right? So we'll see how it all plays. Now, we do see a lot of Bitcoin has been taken out of Coinbase. I think there was a post there about $4 billion of Bitcoin being taken out. That's kind of a good thing if it's been taken out because that probably suggests that people don't want to sell it. So that may be good for less supply in the market. So we'll see how that goes. Obviously, it's a risk-off play as well. Centralized exchanges are pretty risky, and people want to get their money off with BlockFi and things like that. So there's a couple of things playing out in the old crypto market at the moment. Institutions also are probably taking a much more careful look at what they're investing in there too now. Katie says, agreed, but it's just a white-collar crime. It's okay, right? We're living in a clown world, unreal. That's kind of true there, Katie. It was a bit like a clown world. Prices are tasty right now, says Fat Sammy. Tasty. Hey, good to see Fat Sammy back. Woohoo! One of our two community leads with Brian, and he's in our team. Is great. So great to see you back, Fat Sammy. And we'll talk to you again soon in the Discord. Clown world, yes, says Briz. The country is beautiful, not for long with those laws. That's the problem. Yeah, that is the problem. Some of the laws are probably going to impact on our thing as well. So cool. Anyway, we could talk about that all day. They're going to wreck this country, New Zealand. We've had freedom and everything. We've been so lucky. We have been. They really call us the God Zone country, really, because we were. But it just takes one socialist authoritarian government to rip us apart, and that's what they're doing at the moment. All right, so cool. Let's have a look at the markets of Hex. Hex at the moment at 2.49 cents. Got to a low of 2.325, which is pretty much back when we had this big whale sell back here. Am I on the daily? I'm on the weekly here. Sorry, guys. I'm on the weekly. This is the daily here. So back here on the 7th of November, we had that big whale sell down. We got down to 2.29. We got pretty close to that today at a 2.325. Not quite hit it. We have got a new candle just started, and it's only 7 minutes in. So this new green candle here has just started. You can see it here. That's 7 minutes into the day. So hopefully that will be a better green day than these red candles in here. Now we've seen this kind of run of red days in here, after we had a nice little rally up to 5 cents. That seems like a long time ago now, doesn't it? 5 cents, and we got down to as low as, we'll take this candle, 53% down. So that's a lot. 53 decrease in your portfolio. And of course, then we've got the price down 50% at the moment. That's all inside 34 days. So welcome to crypto. That's how things can change so quickly. At the moment, of course, we're at let's even it out at 2.5 cents, kind of where we are at this stage. And of course, we're going to have look at the weekly candle. Let's do the weekly one there, and have a look at the weekly. So this, let's get the overlays off, and that's kind of our weekly candle look from our all-time high there. So we're just tinkering around, and let's say the weekly, I have it around, let's say 52 cents for argument's sake. We're down to 2.5 cents. So we're down 95%. So that's kind of where we are at the moment, and we've got this downtrend still in play. Where will the bottom be? We think that there's going to be more pain in the stock market, more pain in crypto, and so where will this lie? Some people talk about 1 cent all the time, maybe even half a cent. So we'll see where this goes to at this stage. And of course, Pulsechain, we don't know when that's coming out either. Someone said that Crypto 7 had some rumor out there, but I don't really like rumors. So unless you hear from some dev that's leaked from the inside, that's probably as good as you get outside Richard Hart, right? And that guy might not be around too long. To do any more work. I don't know. But anyway, so I'm just teasing there. 2.5 cents there. That's kind of where we're at the moment on the market, and that's on the weekly there for Hex. So let's add back we'll go back to daily and add our overlays. And I've got to reset the chart there. Can I order? Yeah, I can order that. So that's cool. On this chart, I can order it, so that's fine. Let's add on our overlays again. Bam. And where are they gone? I'm on the hourly. Let's go to the daily. And now it's on the daily there. Cool. All right, so cool. We got that big wick down, 2 big wicks. And of course, let's have a look at our key metrics coming up here. We're well through our Hex HSI auctions now. And of course, we got PCE inflation coming up on the 1st. So that's only 2 days away. 2 days away from that. And of course, the Hex third birthday there coming up on 3 days. I'll be having a little bit of Hex third birthday party on this channel. So join me for that if you can. We've got the Fed rate hikes coming up there soon too. And of course, that is coming up there on the 14th, so 2 weeks away for the last rate hike for the year. And this is going to be important for the Christmas. We're going to have a nice Christmas run from the macro point of view. This is a key, the pivotal feed into that is the Fed rate hike. If we get 50 basis points and a sort of a signal that we'll get softer rises afterwards, then that will be bullish for potentially have a little Christmas rally because we've got nothing else left out there at the moment. The other thing, of course, is if we get any news around Pulsechain testnet v3, that would be very bullish. So that would be fun to see that play. So if we did get one in a couple of weeks, as the rumor is from Crypto7 apparently, I haven't seen it myself, so I'm just saying by somebody in the comment there, then that would be pretty bullish. So cool. As I've said, I would love to see a Pulsechain v3 before Christmas, or even in early January would be fine. That'd be pretty cool. And of course, that'd be bullish for Hex as well. And because the narratives are quite tied in at the moment, have been for some time. So we'll see how that plays out. Launch of Pulsechain in the next 2023, and hopefully not further than the end of say March or April. Hopefully it's not further than that. Please. Some people are talking about 24 and stuff like that. I hope not. I do hope not. It's been a long time there as well. But some people, I've seen some Hexkins out there putting out some tweets about silly stuff. I wish they would just stop doing it, but of course it's a free world. They're putting out lots of stuff. A lot of it's wrong too, and I'm just like, cringe. But they're free to do what they want. I think they're helping Hex and stuff like that, but I really don't think they're doing that. It's just like cringe. But anyway, this is the way it goes. Welcome to Twitter, and we're going to jump over to Dipcatcher. Dipcatcher has been still working hard. This guy's a beast machine, and of course, 23 hours ago he posted this full Maximus and Friends portfolio dashboard will be done this week, which is exciting to see. This will let you view detailed stats about your Maxi team, Base, Trio, Lucky, Desi, Poly, Water, Hex, Icosa, and Hedron. Isn't that fantastic? Absolutely beautiful. So on top of the Hex contract, we've got the Maximus team and the Icosa Hedron team. So we've got Dipcatcher, Gold Key, and of course Alex McFurder building on top of Hex and expanding the potential Hex. And fulfilling the destiny of Hex much faster, like dramatically faster than it would otherwise get to, which is fantastic. So we've got this stuff going on here. Premium discount, T-share earnings, team, Hedron, Icosa staking earnings, and native Hex stakes HSI. So really great to see this. So hats off. If I take my hat off, it would be hats off to Dipcatcher for that. Then 22 hours ago says there will also be a big green buy button for all those coins, which we like, and making it easier to buy your favorite coins on the Hex ecosystem. And of course, so when we say Hex ecosystem, we're talking about all these coins that Dipcatcher has lined out there. Hex is not just Hex now; it's got all these second layer derivatives on it, and of course related ones as well, like the Team DAO. It's pretty awesome. So we've got a really cool stuff. It's made the bear market really a fun place to be, and of course, it's eaten up a lot of circulating supply of Hex. Probably somewhere in the order of 2 billion is probably somewhere in the order just in that place. So. Between Maximus, Icosa, and Hedron, which is fantastic off the market for the most part. So very, very cool. Let's jump over to any other. I don't know if he's got any other treats around here. Just having a look up at the further up here as well. Beware companies that take control of your keys. If you want to earn interest, go for the immutable contract that allows you to keep your control of your keys. Hex for the win, says Blue Boot. Yeah, Hexkins are simply ahead of the curve. So it's definitely a strength, a big strength. And we've seen that with all the CFI getting wrecked. So it's cool to see that. Now I'm just going to close down some of these comments here. And that's where we are at the moment. Let's check out Hex on ETH Powerchain. Now, ETH pow. So I did see, funnily enough, I saw Jack Levin talking about launching Zen on ETH Power as well. So what are they already on 10 chains? So now it looks like they're going to be going on there too, which is pretty crazy, right? Anyway, let's have a look at Hex on ETH Power. And of course, 13th, number 13 here. So we've climbed the ranks. Remember, we got all the way down to like number 23, and now we're back up to 13 because of the way the market's changed. So we got 662,000 in 24-hour volume on ETH Power, 32,916 transactions the last 24 hours. And of course, Hex here has climbed the ranks up from about number 23 to 13. Remember, we started off because we were there early with the fork and our activity. We were actually at the top here. We ended up sliding down because other coins came on, which is good, right? You want that. You want the chain to flourish. If you want Hex to flourish, it just helps that general flourishing. And of course, Hex at the moment at 0002. Remember, the whole time high on this chain was 0.4 of a penny. So 2 zeros 4, and it's now at 0002. So that gives you a context there. Down 4.55% over the last 24 hours at 29,000 liquidity and $316 of retail volume. It's basically a nothing. It's a blink in the eye. So that's kind of where it is at the moment. We'll be looking forward to that maybe in the future. Now, you've still got your T-shares. If you got forked over, you've still got those sitting in your it's a place. Basically, some people there are a few people out there trying to pick up a little bit of volume over time. We'll see. Now, I do know that I think it was Hex talking about the fact that you need, like, I'm not sure if it was ETH Power, ETH Fair, you need like 3,000 transactions to get your stuff off. It's easy to get on, but hard to get off. So just take that into account as well. 3,000 transactions could be like a 24-hour time before you can get the stuff out. So yeah, we might revisit that as well in the future. That's kind of where we are at the moment. We've got Hex here, peer at number 21 here as well. That's got us $300 of volume in that, 14K in liquidity. So there is a few those two main peers there for Hex. Let's jump over to ETH Fair, and of course ETH Fair has based on the volume. It's like it's not like it didn't even launch. It didn't even launch is the old ETH Fair, and they've got $2,000 of volume, 696 transactions on 24-hour, and you can see some stuff that almost not traded here. Hex is still dominating. We're at number 7. Hex hit Fair there. All right, so we're going to 4 zeros and 4. 4 zeros and 4. Oh my gosh, it's almost comedy hour here on Hex Token with your host Superman. All right, so we got $2,700 in liquidity, down 70% at the moment. So yeah, there's a lot. I imagine there's a lot of Hex in there. So anyway, some people might be speculating on that. Maybe speculate with $10. I don't know. You might be able to get 1 billion Hex on there. I don't know. Anyway, so jokes aside, that is pretty much it on those chains, and just the way it goes. So it just shows you Hex on ETH is the main pair, and of course, when Pulsechain comes, I think we'll have 2 very strong chains in as well. And you got to remember, when you've got these ecosystems, you've got only so much financial funds circulating around, and of course that is different between a bear market and a bull market. So I think having 2 strong chains is going to be very delicious. And of course, remember, the same people that own the Hex stakes will own the Pulsechain stakes as well, and so that's going to be very, very, very powerful. So in terms of stickiness, and so hopefully we'll see that. And of course, with the price coming down at the moment, we see the weekends leaving, and yeah, it's I could make a few more comments about that, but I'm going to leave it there. So that's kind of cool. Let's look at Hedron at the moment. Hedron is ticking a little down. Definitely got sold off too, down below the 2,000, which has kind of been that crucial point there. We got as low as 1,693. Can you believe it? 1,693 with 5 zeros in front. And the high of the day is 5 zeros, 2,039. And we're currently at 1,824 there. So we'll just keep watching this. And yeah, this particular chart has not played out at all. We've seen obviously a lot more minting, but we have had a lot more burning lately. So the actual net burning has been actually lower than probably expected. Obviously, Poly Maximus not bidding has definitely played a role in that. And of course, allowing the other remaining whales. And I think we saw about 2 or 3 whales bidding on some of the same stuff originally. And we know that there's 4 or 5 big whales that have been bidding a lot, or 6 whales actually. I think they've been bidding a lot of the transactions. And of course, now obviously that was a less burning when you got that big Poly competitor in there. And so that's probably played a role in the net burning of Hedron too. So there's a few little things like that are out there. And of course, we've got 824 is the price. We'll see how we go at the moment. Now let's jump over to the auctions in the house. So there was 5,358 HSIs sitting in the queue, but they have not been taken into liquidation. And you can see a lot of them are ready at the moment. Now, I'm not sure if all of these will be available, but these ones have got now written on them at the front. And of course, you can flicker through a lot of these tabs here as well. You can see that they have not been pulled in. You need to start the auction on these. So there's a lot in the queue. But let's have a look at the ones that are actually live in the auction house, as I say. 41. I'm still waiting for the word auction house to pop up here. If I say it every single live stream, and maybe Alex accidentally comes and watches one of my live streams, maybe he'll put in auction house at the top here. Active HSI Hex Stake auctions. Auction house. All right, so the auction house. And of course, we've got the couple of these ones have been won here. 217,000, 2.1 billion Hedron was for that. Had a 3x multiplier too, so had a launch bonus in it for the third to last week. So that's kind of cool. And let's have a look at we'll do 50 because there's only 41. And let's have a look down here to see if there's any decent sized ones in the house. There's quite a few good retail pickouts. So if you're interested in picking up, trying to get some deal amongst the retail stuff, you could probably pick up quite a few deals there. And of course, the price of Hedron being down cheaper too. If you're coming from stables, then it's way to your advantage probably. Obviously, you got to consider the market conditions as well. 1.8 million Hex here, so one of these big ones. We knew that there was about 90 or so big ones over a million, and here's another one here, 1.8 million. And of course, that's got 3.4 billion Hedron bid in. It's got 8 hours to go on that one. We've got 155,000 Hex here. That's got 20 T shares, and that's 111 million bid on that so far. 8 hours to go. 155,000, 165,000. What else there? So there's about 5 there that are pretty large. And then, of course, there's lots of other decent retail, 20,000, 24. They may be able to get some value there too if you're a smaller retail player with a smaller amount of Hedron, especially if you minted it for free, right? So it's kind of cool. Let's jump over to Dev Huey. He always gives us alpha around the Hedron Akosa, and we appreciate all his Web3 skills, as it were. So 23 hours, Hedron is overall deflationary since the Akosa auction started 15 days ago. Yay! But it's probably not as much as it could have been, right? The Poly had been bidding on all those 90 big fat, juicy auctions. 3.1 trillion Hedron burned, 2.27 trillion Hedron minted. So that gives you a number, folks. And, of course, 0.82 trillion Hedron reduction in supply. And that's just not enough, right? It's okay. But given how much supply is out there, you really would want that to be in at least a couple of trillion, at least to be a decent dent. But it's something. It's something at the moment. And of course, we will get a cycle back around in 90 days time. And of course, they'll probably be only a fourth the size probably. So we've got that playing out as well. So we'll see how this goes, but that's where it is at the moment. And we see the market pulling down. So that's kind of important there. Let's see what people are saying about that. Let me know in the chat what you think about the net Hedron burn there. Thank you for your information, says Marine Cat. Indeed. Thank you very much indeed. It will be better if all the available HSIs will go one auction, says Empty. Give it time, says Crypto Nate. Give it time. So some interesting thoughts there. Right, what else we got there? Hedron and Akosa Cyber Monday sale. And what's this one here? Hex T-shirt 25,000. Hex daily payout and Hedron now. I'm not quite sure. Following that one there very closely. Let me have a look here. So that's pretty much it for there. So that was a really good drop actually of info. And of course you can see the Hedron burned day two, the day range there. I'm not sure what days it is. 261, 275, I think it is. Oh no, not quite. Anyway, 2.27 to 3.09 there at the moment. So he's just got the 12 days, is it? I think so. My double backing on myself 15 days ago. 15 days is what he's got in that time frame. All right, cool. Let's jump over to the Hex model. We can see it for ourselves. Let's jump over to Hedron, and we can see those charts for ourselves. And we've got all time here: 76 trillion minted, 6.86 trillion burned. So that's that's pretty decent, right? That's pretty decent. And of course, that was comparing the minted amount. So if you look at the actual amount burned, that's pretty decent still. So pretty happy about that. So definitely offsetting. Imagine if that wasn't burned. That would be a lot different. So that's actually pretty good when you look at it from that point of view. So it's two different ways of looking at the burn there. And we knew the minted was coming anyway, right? So that's a pretty good result. I'm just having a look here. So we got, the burning definitely looks like it's dropped off at the back end here, but it was doing pretty well before that. Let's go look at Wattses and have a look at that. So look at Wattses here. Oh, wow, look at that. $1,000 and, of course, 1,029 Watts Akosa yield there. So people are pretty happy with that. Obviously, the price of Akosa is important too. Let's go have a look for that. I'm going to go back to the Hex chart here and let's have a look at the Akosa yield. Might go to that and type in Akosa, CSA. Did I have that in here? No, I don't. I've got the wrong chart up for this, so I'll have to pull that up another time. I was supposed to do that yesterday, but forgot. All right, so cool. Let's jump away from there. And what else there? That's looking pretty good there. Akosa itself. So if you're saying Akosa, you get Hedron and Akosa. We'll see that. Remember, this is all tied into the Hex share rate too. So it's deflationary from that point of view. We've got 549 billion Hedron yield and 18.1 million Akosa yield so far. And, yesterday was a bit softer. Day 106 definitely dropped down from the previous period of time. Although there's going to be pretty good auctions coming in all the way to Christmas. So we're still expecting pretty decent burn to happen through that period. So, and auctions to be won. So cool. We'll see that play out. Let's jump over to the airdrops. And of course, if you want to get the airdrops, the link to our Discord's in the video description. If you haven't joined, you like good information and good community, get in there, folks. We've got everything, a rich art chat. We've got a Pulsechain chat, airdrops, of course, free claims in there. If you want to see whether you qualify for any of those. We've also got price chat and social chats and all that sort of stuff. So get in there. Really cool place to be. All right, so cool. We got maybe one of the devs one of the mods can post a link to the Discord in the chat there too. Right, so Zen at the moment. So Zen, let me look here. So Zen has got the NFTs coming up with the burn. later on. I think that's going to put another bump in this chart. So we'll probably get another one of these bumps. But definitely the chart's going down here. Now, I'm hoping by January, I think it was, what day did I say? January 9th or something like that. I'm hoping that we get one of the bumps in by then, because that would be perfect timing for me in terms of that. So that's what, another 5 weeks away or something. I got a couple of mints coming out there, so that's cool. Now, this is on the ETH chain, the most valuable chain. Obviously, there's 10 chains at least. Looks like he's going to go to like 50 chains by the time he finishes. I don't know how many. I think there's a lot of EVM chains around, so he could go to heaps and heaps of them. So we'll see. I did have a list here the other day. Maybe I should go through on another live stream. That'd be cool. Let's go to the weight token. Most people are waiting, and it's down at 0.2 of a penny. Big red day today. No surprises there. And you can find all these links to these projects in our Discord under airdrops, free claims, airdrops, free mints or something like that I called it. So you can check that out. What else? That is pretty much it. Nothing much to see there. Poor Pleb did launch at a terrible time, unfortunately, but did try to make a little bounce recovery. Got up to 4,700 with 5 zeros in front of it. It's now at 3,200. Still got a slightly higher low here. We'll see where it goes at the moment. And it's got to make a high, right, to get some sort of uptrend going. And yeah, Poor Pleb, if you did like 10,000 or 1,000 sacrifice or something, I think this is the qualifying criteria for Poor Pleb. So that's in play too. All right, cool. We're going to jump away to the Pulse Bitcoin, which has been a lot of fun. Pulse Bitcoin. The price has not been as much fun as I was hoped, but it's definitely been a fun project to see it play out. And let's have a look here as well. Obviously, the market conditions are really harsh. You know, we got these you imagine these things launching in a bull market. Could you imagine? Now, obviously, the bull market will come at some stage in the future, but here we are at the moment. So we've just down to a low. Yesterday, the low was $1.50. Today's low, $1.60. So we've got a slightly higher low. The price is at 166, but it is below the close of yesterday. So we'll see how we get on there. No rally in this chart yet, and it's still early days, though. It's still early days. As you can see, we haven't got many days in the chart. How many days is that? 9 days, not many days at all. So that is that one. We've got the asset token at 89 cents there. That is also down. So we might full screen that too. That is down as well. And we don't have orders on this chart, so we're going to manually do it. 89 cents there at the moment on the ASIC. And of course, Pulse Dogecoin, on the other hand, is up slightly. Yesterday, it got as low as $4.03. Can you believe it? It seems a little bit weird, right? We've had over 50% burn, and we're down at $4. But the bearish market conditions are so bearish, and the people reallocating funds, selling down, risk off, all that sort of things playing out there. At the moment, though, we bounced up to $4.32 at the moment. We are still tracking through the transform phase. That is not over yet. And, of course, maybe the timing, maybe the bear market will be over by the time we get to the end of the 20th, and things might be a bit more rosier there. So we've got our plane as red. Let's make it green. Let's be more optimistic. Green there with Wolverine flying this plane. You guys know that. Wolverine's flying. And here we go at the moment. So cool. What will happen then at the end of the 20th? We will see the end of the transform, so we'll know how much Pulse Dogecoin, the meme coin, is around. And is that going to be enough to keep it rallying? Because it's going to be competing with the asset token. It's going to be competing with the Pulse Bitcoin. It's going to be competing with the ATM. It's going to be competing with potentially Pulse Litecoin. How's the ecosystem going to go? Obviously, you've got to grow the community, and they are focused on that, but it's going to be interesting to see that play out. So that's kind of where we're at the moment. And, of course, how will it be valued? Will ATM be most valuable? Will the ASIC be second most valuable? Will the Pulse Bitcoin be third? Will Pulse Dogecoin be the fourth most valuable? Let me know in the chat which one you think is going to be the most valuable out of all of those. And, of course, Pulse Litecoin coming eventually as well. Now, the asset token you'll be able to use to mine Pulse Bitcoin and Pulse Litecoin. So that'd be something. And maybe there's a few little other things up the sleeve of the dev as well. He's kind of teased that before. All right, so cool. That's pretty much it. We're counting down. Let's go have a look at the DApp and see what the results are at the moment. This is kind of like a virtual Bitcoin. So we've got 3.1 million Pulse Dogecoin transformed into 15.2 million asset tokens. That's a 1-to-5 ratio. And we got 50.893% burn so far. Incredible. Almost 51%. So going pretty well there. Pippi did pretty well with the burn rate. The price, however, has not come around. I think he was talking about something like $20. So we'll see. That, I mean, obviously it hasn't had the rally yet. Maybe it can do something magical like that in the future. We'll see. That's kind of where it is. Let's go to the mine. And of course, we've got 7,078 miners so far, 18 million asset tokens, and a global asset burn there, 32,000. It is deflationary, the asset token. And so far, 2.3 million has been mined, with about 1 million or something like that, probably been minted, something like that in the moment. So cool. We've got 10.5 million before the first halvening. Remember, there's only going to be 21 Pulse Bitcoin, just like in the real Bitcoin, or at least the proof of work Bitcoin. Let's talk about that. Is it the real Bitcoin? The original Bitcoin? That's probably a bit friendlier way of saying it. So cool. We'll see how this goes on. Let's jump over to the ATMs. We've got 2,934 ATMs still in the market, 1.3 million endpoints. And of course, you can trade those on Rarible and OpenSea. However, a vast majority have been claimed by some of the big whales early on. 3.2 million points with 1,250 ATMs got redeemed. And of course, that stuff there, 3.2 million. I guess it joined the Transform 115. And of course, that gave us the mining, which is 18. So I guess that's all adds up there. So cool. That's pretty much it on there. No real update from the dev there. He did talk about people selling down the chart on Pulse Dogecoin, but it looks like it's taking a little bit of a bounce back there. Okay, cool. That is pretty much happening on Pulse Bitcoin. We're going to be watching that journey. I think it's kind of a cool, fun thing to do. Now, I didn't pull up BNBP, so we might have to pull up BNBP. Let's do that. And I don't know actually whether there was any update, because we're expecting a few updates from BNBP. Let's see what the price is at the moment. So look here. So the price at $9.40 at the BNBP. So holding up still relatively well, given how much down pressure there is in at the moment. That's still holding up pretty well. And let's have a look at BNBP and see if there's any announcements in there. I don't know if there's any in Telegram, but let's have a look here. I've got all these other advertisements on here. Let's have a look here. 40 million of volume so far. There's Simon Burnett there. Wow. And of course, without a doubt, the best project on BSC proves yet again the real transparency is rare in DeFi. And yeah, that really is setting the mark on a lot of those with the transparency there. Let's pull up the old BNBP, have a quick look at that. And what game are we up to? We're up to game number 9,560 on Jackpot. We are waiting for Powerball. That is supposed to be coming out pretty soon. And so is Roulette, which has the NFTs that people have bought in auction. So we're looking forward to that. So this thing, potentially the revenues could go like this, even in a bear market, could perform pretty well. We'll be watching that. And of course, the stake percentage of coins at the moment, 76.67%. The burn is at 6.3. Let's go to the all statistics and have a look at that. If it's going to populate, is it going to populate? Because I've had a few troubles with that. No, it's stopped populating. Oh, well, we'll have to talk about it tomorrow. I'll try and get that up and running. Maybe if I get it pre-live before I do my live stream. All right, we're going to get the Hex Daily Stats. We're on day 1,092. Woohoo! Hex just keeps moving along. And of course, DeFi yield is just fantastic. So here we are, day 1,092, the 28th of November, 2022. The price at 2.5 cents. We've got the payout for Hex is spectacular today, and I definitely like this more than Brazolji. 6.431 is the Hex payout. Amazing. The T-share is $629, and of course the share rate 25,173, up 5.1 today. The average stake length 6.71 years, so the Hex community is going to be around for a while. And of course the APY rate there, the yield and mentioning in-state penalty is 38.93%. So awesome. The Hex yield performing as designed, and of course you mint it. The contract is immutable. You mint your own yield. So very, very cool. Liquidity, of course, is 371.5 million Hex in the pool. The USD 9.3 million in there, and just under 1,300 ETH in the pool there as well. So obviously liquidity is important for all projects in crypto. So that's ticking along there. All right, so the T-shares, after having quite a few big decreases the last couple of days, including OA wallets coming out with their stakes coming out, we've had 392 T-shares up today, 10,354,795 T-shares. Man, oh man, oh man. There's a bit of a trend going on at the moment with the T-shares. We have Hex is easy to understand. We have a reward pool with inflation and penalties. We have an ownership pool with T-shares. And at the moment, the T-share ownership pool is getting smaller. So what does that mean? The Hex payout with T-share is getting slightly bigger. So that's what we're seeing at the moment with the T-shares. And of course, we were up at 10.4 million. We're now at 10,354,000. So that's a 46,000 different of T-shares. That's quite a big deal there. So we're watching this as well. So that's kind of cool. We are in a bear market, so we do have price pressure in the US dollar. That's just playing out at the moment as well. So we've got that risk-off attitude in the market. Let's jump over to the stake percentage of coins, 9.69% of Hex's staked. In fact, let's have a look at the total amount of Hex staked. I don't often bring this up. 62.5 billion Hex is staked at the moment. You can see there. And of course, that's 9.69% of all the supply. Pretty cool. Percent penalties, 4.8 million. Woohoo! So a good day in the office for Hex stakers. And of course, you do have to ride out the price movements and the big cycles. Obviously, Hex has had a big extended bear market at the moment. And what would we say, about 440 days, something like that? Can't remember now. Something like that. So cool. Let's have a look at the change in total the wallets. So we've had in Hex, we've had consistent retail growth in these wallets, and of course, barring a couple of decreases here and there. But the wallet's up 16 to 314,185 at the moment. That is what you'll see on Etherscan. Now, our headline metric is staking. Hex is all about getting those T-shares. And at the moment, you can get it for much more value, right? So you can get a lot more T-shares offsetting that share rate, relatively speaking. And of course, a 340 increase today, massive increase, 114,958. And of course, what we've got the price, I guess we've got Hex HSIs, things like that playing out there in the market. So cool. Current stake is 114,958. And of course, we're almost at 115,000, which is pretty cool. The total holders are up 596 up to 513,675. That is day 1,092. We are on day 1,093, only a day away from, I guess, a day away, 2 days away from the Hex's third birthday, day 1,095. And of course, I'll be having a little party on this channel. Then after that, we'll be in our fourth year in Hex, which is pretty cool. And earning that beautiful DeFi yield, as we like to say. So that's pretty much it at the moment. We've got the Hex price at 2.5 cents. So pretty cool. Let's get back to here. We're going to actually pull up the Hex chart. Actually, I might pull the Hex chart as we go. We're coming up to 1 hour and 7 minutes, so doing pretty good time at the moment. And we're probably going to pull up some of Richard's comments here too. Let's have a look at that. So Richard's been pretty active. So we're going to look at a couple of his over the last few hours. I'm not going to read them all because he's got quite a lot over the last 24 hours. So what do we got here? We got question mark. Bitcoin, do you think the bear market is your ally? You merely adopted the bear market. I was born in it, molded by it. I bought at $30 and watched it dump 94% to $2 in 5 months. I didn't see a 40x for 3 years. By then, it was nothing to me but bragging rights. And of course, he's got a couple comments around wrapped ETH here. I'm going to jump through those though. I don't think people understand how kind I am. I could spend an hour every day savaging a different coin influencer, but never run out. I'd rather build. So I like that, right? That's a nice signal there, building. Let's see what people respond to that. I'd rather build. Having a look at that. No, I was expecting to see certain comments in here, but I'm not really seeing the comments that I expected to see. We've got a lot of Hexkins in there, but no, none of the comments I expected to see are in there. It's kind of bizarre. All right, so cool. 18 years ago, cryptocurrency is the dreams of many other projects have hyped and died. Hex will still be paying yield for every single day, and that's the truth. If you want to check out hex.com and the link in the video description, make sure you do your investment due diligence. Obviously, nothing on this channel is investment advice, but that DeFi yield keeps playing. That's why it will be here a very long time from now, and so many other things will not. So that's going to be true. And of course, you talked about BlockFi file for bankruptcy. I begged you to remove your coins from there for years. Everyone else gave you a referral link. Now, I did post this on our thumbnail. So if you look at the thumbnail of this video, that is the quote that I posted there. So we'll retweet that one there too. Might retweet this one as well. So cool. What else? This is a pretty funny one. I know that who was responding to this? Who responded to someone? Shano responded to this. The next crypto conference that I'm at here, and of course, is that Randy Savage or whatever? Randy Musk Savage? I can't remember his name now. But he was one of the funny WWF guys back in the 90s, I think 80s, 90s, something like that. All right, so cool. And what else there? I'm trying to look for Shano's comment. I can't see it there. Shano was in there with a comment. So cool. What else there? 4 hours ago, who's really responsible for all the billions of dollars of crypto lost to bankruptcy companies this year? You, he says, you. A big pointing you there. Yes, you heard me. You either made yourself a headline giving them your money for them to steal, or you didn't convince your fellow man hard enough to stay safe. There we are. Obviously, staying safe is a big part of the Hex community there. You could be down money if you bought Bitcoin or Ethereum 5 years ago. Let's be serious, though. It's a pretty tiny window you'd have to fit in. Most people are still up massive, says Richards. What else there? We've got 4 hours ago. What did it take for cryptocurrency to finally admit I'm a champion? Just nearly every yield generating thing going bankrupt. Bitcoin and Ethereum dropping 80%, and all those who challenged me going into hiding there with Richard's cool picture from the highest of stakes, which I think looks pretty cool. That's a pretty cool picture, right? Let's jump away to that. We're going to jump. That's pretty much it from that one. So cool. Hope you guys like that. We're going to leave it on the Hex chart here. And let's see where we are at this stage on Hex. I'm going to get into the chat there and read the final comments. Hex at just under 2.5 cents, 2.494. We'll see where we go here. At the moment, I'm going to take off the overlays. Bam. All right. Who else is in the chat? Probably popped in since I've been chatting away. I think we definitely got up to those comments. Public says, RH absolutely killing it lately on the stream, though. You should have sell the Prada and bags of Hex. Yeah. What I was going to say was, he has been on with BitBoy, with the Panama president on a Twitter space. Been on a couple others as well. It's been pretty cool. Never happened on my watch. Heavily armed and not tracked. I think we got up to those for sure. Let me jump away. Oh boy, I went way back too far there. We got up to all that too. Tombo says, I hope the new Maximus dashboard shows estimates for diamond hand rewards. Yeah, maybe remind him, Tombos. I'm not sure if we meant he said that on the chat there. Yeah, and you might want to remind him there. I don't think that's on. Yeah, definitely remind him of that one. Tip catcher, that is. Dan Dog says, look into Pulsechain. And so there's a bit of a plug there from Dan Dog. Cypher there says Hex, F, and W, my favorites. That's funny, Cypher. That's funny, man. Legal Blitz says, what happens if you win an HSI auction? Are you stuck with it for the duration, or can you sell it later if you want? I think you can sell it back to the HSI contract and get more Arcosa and stake the Arcosa. Sandy Beach says, when Wolverine comes back, price will go up. Where's he gone? Has he gone somewhere? I haven't actually been following him too closely lately. That would probably be true. I can't find Pulse Bitcoin on Uniswap. Should I search it for using the contract address? Yes, John. That would be the best way of doing it. Al Merlos in house there. Yes, says Al. Macho Man Randy Savage. That's it. Macho Man Randy Savage. I almost got it right, didn't I? Macho Man Randy Savage. Yeah, he was awesome. He was definitely one of the best. Was it Hulk Hogan and stuff like that? Hulk Hogan. Hello, folks. Bob Wells in the house. Good to see you, Bob. And of course, Sandy says he's taking a break. Says Sandy. Oh, Wolverine. Yeah, probably does take a break. He's got a little daughter or something. Yeah, probably spending family time. It's always very important. So cool. We're up to now in 13 minutes, folks. We're going to end up here. We got Hex at 2.51111. We've got a Hex token pump to end the time on. We got that's just the way we roll on this channel. Pump, and a bear market. But yeah, just the way it goes. All right, so cool. Hope you guys are enjoying that. And I'm going to leave you a bit of positivity on the way out at the moment. So I know some of you got your limit orders set for 1 cent. I wish you all the very best. And of course, we will bear market or bull market will be streaming. So I hope you guys enjoyed the content. Don't forget to catch me for the Hex's 3rd birthday. That'll be in 2 days' time. So we'll be partying here. We'll be covering it, right? Because I stream at the end of the UTC time, right? So we're always doing the day rollover on this channel. So you can join me there for the birthday to celebrate that. Very nice. We'll probably have something in a Discord afterwards too, like a bit of a social chat in Discord after that live stream. So we'll continue the party there. So cool. We'll see. Don't forget that Steffi's also got Steph from StakeRap's got that Hex price on the 3rd birthday competition. You can go find him on Twitter. That's Steph at StakeRap. So if you want to try and win $2,000, I think it was probably slightly lower now because the Hedron's gone down a bit, but that's definitely in play as well. Don't miss out on some free competition money. All right, it's cool. I'm sure it was great. I'll rewind and watch this, Bob. Hey, Bob, it probably was great. Probably was. Nice one. Superman says, Tom Boss, have a good day. Always late, Bob says. Yeah, Bob's busy. He's busy out on the farm, I think, Bob. Aren't you busy out on the farm? All right, take care, everybody. I'll catch you guys tomorrow. Bye for now. Woohoo!
Here in my $3,000 Valentino Rockstud purse, my $3,000 Prada jacket, $2,000 Prada shirt, $2,000 or $3,000.
Wait. We've got our poll. We're going to finish our poll. Brendan was supposed to tell me about the poll. We got our poll finished. Let's get our poll. We're going to do the poll. I almost forgot about the poll again. Can you believe it? 7-minute poll. More crypto pain to come. Yes, market to go down 83%. Market to move sideways 6%. Market to move up 6%. Unsure, don't know 2%. 74 votes. Yeah, there it is, folks. The community has spoken. All right, take care. Let's play the rest of this video. We're going to start
Everybody,
again.
Richard Hart here in my $3,000 Valentino rock stud purse, my $3,000 Prada jacket, $2,000 Prada shirt, $2,000 or $3,000 Prada pants, Prada glasses, Prada hat, Prada bracelet, and it's all Prada shirt, Prada hat, Prada glasses, Prada pants, and it's all nylon, so the haters' tears fall right off. Prada shirt, Prada hat, Prada glasses, Prada pants, and it's all nylon, so the haters' tears fall right off.
Lil Bubble, let me ride that rocket.
Well, I drifted off again at work, thinking about Pulsechain. And occasionally I think back to that twerk, Richard Hart bringing his game. Well, I didn't make the sacrifice 'cause I came too late, but day one I'm still making it rain. Oh, I drifted off again at work, thinking about Pulsechain. I woke up in a sweat last night, dreaming about Pulse X. Won't be long before I'm going to bed wearing a Rolex. There's so much to love about it, I can't pick my favorite. It's almost better than sex. Well, oh, I woke up in a sweat last night, dreaming about Pulse X. If you wanna be set up for life, you better stake your hats. Might as well start with 555, a financial suplex. Generational wealth is just a click away. It's a Nobel Prize worthy flex. If you wanna be set up for life, you better stake your hats. A financial suplex, a Nobel Prize worthy flex. You better stake your hats.